Hey YouTube, Kira Twig here, bringing you all an update to my Morphtronic Yugioh deck profile for February 2020. It actually has been quite a while since the last Morphtronic update. I thought when I last looked back on when the last time I updated this deck profile, that would be sometime last year. Turns out that wasn't the case. It's actually been almost close to 2 years since the update to the Morphtronic deck, which actually does surprise me. They just go by so quickly, and I figure we're definitely due for an update for the deck, and maybe even another update closer to Master Rule 5, where we focus more on the overall aspect of the deck to summon out a bunch of synchro monsters and maybe have some sort of shooting Quasar variant for the deck, because I think that could definitely be a big potential for the deck. But until then, I still am a big fan of all the combos you can do with the Link monsters in the deck that provide just more and more play options with cards like Morphtronic Selfon and Morphtronic Smartphone. Did I say Smartphone twice? Selfon and Smartphone. But without further ado, let's go ahead and get started with the deck profile. So for the monsters, one of our main ones we run is Morphtronic Selfon. This is your main level 1 go-to monster. While in attack position, once per turn, you can roll a 6-sided dice and reveal cards with an excavation from the top of your deck. And then you can special summon a level 4 or lower Morphtronic monster from among them, ignoring the summoning conditions, and then shuffle the rest of the deck. And all Morphtronic monsters have different attack and defense effects. Morphtronic Selfon's defense effect being a reveal the top cards of your deck equal to the die roll once again, and then return them to the top of the deck in the same order. So it just helps you see the different cards you have set up. Most of the time I just like to use it for the attack position effect because it gives you more resources to go off of with the special summon, as long as you're lucky with your die roll. And it's also why I decided to go with a pure version of the Morphtronic deck, having all Morphtronic monsters, because then you have more consistency with the special summon. I didn't want to focus on any hand traps, because it just is really disappointing when you reveal a hand trap that you cannot special summon off of the Morphtronic deck. And then also for the non-tuner Morphtronic monsters, I run 2 Morphtronic Boomboxen. The main reason I really love Morphtronic Boomboxen is for the fact that it is a level 4 Earth monster, meaning it is a viable target for us to summon Naturia Beast out onto the field, and being able to shut down your opponent's spell cards is a big help. And then also just being able to set up more and more cards in the graveyard with Naturia Beast definitely does come in handy as well. With Morphtronic Boomboxen, while in attack position, this card can attack twice during each battle phase, and while in defense, once per turn, when a face-up Morphtronic monster you control is selected as an attack target, you can negate the attack. So just more and more setup, especially when you special summon it off of Selfon. Being able to place it in defense mode gives you that option for the defense play, but more and more resources with Selfon just give you more and more Link monster plays to go off of as well with this card. I only have the 2 Morphtronic Boomboxen just for the fact that I run a few other non-tuner monsters for the deck, including 2 Morphtronic Slingin. With this one, while in attack position, once per turn, you can tribute 1 Morphtronic monster except Morphtronic Slingin to destroy 1 card on the field. So even off of the special summon with Morphtronic Selfon, you're able to destroy Selfon, let's say, and then destroy a card using Morphtronic Slingin. And then you have plenty of other cards that can special summon Selfon back to the field to reuse. And since it's basically a whole new Selfon on the field, you can roll the dice again and summon out another Morphtronic monster with just more and more resources to go through. But I only run the 2 Slingin. It works well with the option for the Boomboxen. And just so I have some other level 4 Earth targets, I also run 2 Morphtronic Staplen. While in attack position, your opponent cannot select another monster as an attack target, and if this card is destroyed by battle, the monster that destroyed this card loses 300 attack, just because of the fact that it is another Earth monster for Naturia Beast. If you want to try cards like Morphtronic Radion that gives more of an attack boost for your Morphtronic monsters, you can swap out Staplen for that card instead. Player preference at that point. And while in defense position, this card cannot be destroyed by battle. If this card is attack after damage calculation, select 1 face-up attack position monster your opponent controls, change it to defense, and change this card to attack position. So just really helpful for the non-link plays when you go up against your opponent, especially getting pesky monsters your opponent may have in attack position to defense, and then relying on the Staplen play to go for that. But all these monsters are just options you can special summon or search off of a bunch of other cards in the deck. The big plays also come from the tuner monsters, which are the 3 Morphtronic Smartphone. This is your main go-to tuner monster in the deck. It cannot be normal summon or set. Must first be special summoned from your hand by banishing 1 Morphtronic monster from your graveyard. While in attack position, once per turn, you can roll a 6-sided die, excavate that many cards from the top of your deck, and then add 1 excavated Morphtronic card, and then shuffle the rest back into the deck. So the fact that it can be a Morphtronic card means that you can also add, let's say, spell cards that say Morphtronic in it, so very, very useful with that as well. And while in defense position, once per turn, you can roll a 6-sided die, look at that many cards from the top of your deck, then place all of them on either the top or bottom of the deck in any order. So it rearranges the top or bottom of the deck, unlike Morphtronic Selfon, which just places them back in that order. So you're able to, if there are any cards you don't really need in that order. But most of the time, the search effect is the best thing to go off of with Morphtronic Smartphon, and you can also special summon it with Selfon since it ignores the summoning condition. The only thing is you won't be able to special summon it back from the graveyard, unlike a Smartphon you summon normally first, since it says it must first be special summoned. So remember that also when going with these Selfon play. And then for going for our, level 7 synchro plays, example into Power Tool Dragon, I run 3 Morphtronic Scopin with this one. While in attack position once per turn, you can special summon 1 level 4 Morphtronic monster from your hand, destroy it during the end phase. And while in defense position, while this card is face up in defense position, it's level 4. So you can adjust it to be a level 4 monster, which is very, very useful when you summon it off of Morphtronic Selfon if you need the level 5 synchro play. But being in attack position, you can easily summon another level 4 from your hand and then use that play there to go into your level 7 plays, the main one being your Power Tool Dragon when you summon this card out onto the field to use. And then I also run the 3 Morphtronic Lantron. This is just a preference, in my opinion, for the deck, which I'll show in a bit. If you wanted to run Morphtronic Remoten, it could be another spot for the Banish Search play, but I prefer Lantron just for the Where Art Thou plays, being a level 1 option to summon out Lantron, and then being able to go for another level 1 search for some of your more important cards, including Selfon and Smartphon in the deck, which I'll show in just a bit with one of the combo plays you can do as well for the cards. But also with Morphtronic Lantron, while in attack position, any effect damage you take from an opponent's card effect is inflicted to your opponent instead. Very, very useful effect. And while in defense position, if this card is destroyed by battle and sent to the graveyard, you take no battle damage this turn. So more of a defense card also to rely on, so remember it. And it's just another option for cards like Machine Duplication to easily special summon out to the field, which is why I wanted to max out on the numbers. But if you're not a fan of Lantron, like I said, you could try out Morphtronic Remoten instead for this spot. And that is it for the monsters. Like I said, I wanted to run a mostly monster mash version of all the Morphtronics so you can get out consistency with all the different special summons. For the spells, I run 3 Morphtronic Repair Unit, along with being an equip spell that you can search off of Power Tool. You send 1 Morphtronic monster from your hand to the graveyard and select 1 Morphtronic monster in your graveyard, special summon the selected monster, and equip it with this card. The equipped monster cannot change its battle position, and when this card is removed from the field, destroy the equipped monster. So just being able to special summon, if you already have, let's say, a Morphtronic monster in the graveyard, you can discard a Morphtronic monster from your hand and special summon that target onto the field. So if you have another one, you can send off Selfon and special summon Selfon and then use the Selfon's effect to summon other things, since it doesn't negate the effect. And like I said, it's searchable off of cards like Power Tool, which is an added plus as well. And I also run 3 Junk Box. It's not a Morphtronic card labeled, but it, so it can't be searched off of Smartphone. But you select and special summon 1 level 4 or lower Morphtronic monster in your graveyard, destroy it during the end phase. So with this one, you have easy special summon. It doesn't negate the effect of the monster, so an added bonus there. But you still have the search effect for cards going off of Smartphone, Selfon, you name it, or just the additional monster you may need for some of your plays also. So 3 Junk Box, I would say definitely need it. It's just an easy monster reborn for your Morphtronic monsters to keep the resources going as well. And for more and more resources, once again, I run 3 Machine Duplication. If you have the 1 Selfon on the field, and then just use Machine Duplication to get the additional Selfon out onto the field, you have the 3 to go off of the special summon, and having a monster in the extra monster zone option means you can also summon out. If you normal summon the 1 Selfon, use the Machine Duplication, summon out 2 other Selfons. You can use the first 2 Selfons effects to get out potentially additional Morphtronic monsters, then use 1 of these Selfons to go for an extra deck play. Most of the time I like to go for Link Karibo to clear up 1 of the monster zones, and then have the final Selfon be able to use its effect and keep all that space free for all the different monsters you just summoned out. Just a crazy play you can do with just 2 cards in the deck, so very, very fun when you can get that one summoned out also. So you definitely need 3 Machine Duplications also for that special summon tactic. And all the level 1 monsters, I do like to run the 3 the Where Art Thou, even if you take the 2,000 points of damage, you don't really use life for anything else in the deck. So Where Art Thou, just being able to search those level 1 monsters, especially ones like Smartphone, definitely does help for the search as well. So with this one, if you have, let's say, the Lantron on the field and you have Where Art Thou, you can summon Lantron, use Where Art Thou, search, let's say, for the Morphtronic Smartphone. Then also, you would probably take the 2,000 damage because you can't normal summon the Smartphone, but then you would link into Link Karibo using the Lantron and then have the Link Karibo out on the field to use. Then you would banish the Lantron from your graveyard to special Smartphone and have your search to go for from there. And if you don't get an additional Morphtronic that you can summon out using some other methods, you can link these two off for a link to play from there. And then just for another additional equip card to go with in the deck, I run 2 the Different Dimension Reincarnation. You banish a lot with Smartphone, so just having this equip spell as another search helps. So if you open up one of the equip spells before you summon Power Tool Dragon, having 5 equip spells means you at least have the Reveal 3 search to go for consistently with that card. And this one I would say definitely is useful, so you can always just get more and more resources. Let's say you have to banish Cellphone off a Smartphone, you'll be able to get it back very easily with this card. And plenty of link arrows to go off of. I run 2 World Legacy Succession, just another easy special summon card. You have plenty of Monster Reborn cards in this deck with all the junk boxes, the Morphtronic Repair Unit, World Legacy Succession, especially just as another option. And for some of the one-ofs, the obvious Monster Reborn. I think actually since my last Morphtronic update, Soul Charge was in that deck profile, so it shows how long it's been since that version. But 1 Monster Reborn, 1 Foolish Burial, and 1 1-for-1, just easy level 1 special summoning. Cellphone is always the first go-to target. Foolish Burial sets up some other Morphtronics that I can special summon in the graveyard, and Monster Reborn just special summons more and more resources back to the field to use. And to finish off the spells and the main deck, I run 3 Call by the Grave. You do special summon a lot from the main deck, so cards like Ash Blossom can really shut down your plays, so having this hand trap to rely on definitely does come in handy. And that is it for the main deck. We'll now move on to the extra deck. I run the 1 Power Tool Dragon. I feel it's really all you need in the deck, just so you have the level 7 search to go for, the equip spell, and then when you activate them, you don't really equip them onto Power Tool. You like to use it for just its resource option to search out all the other equip spells that you can use to summon out other monsters. And the 1 Lifestream Dragon definitely does come in handy when you use Power Tool Dragon and another level 1 tuner to making your life points become 4,000 if you've used, let's say, Where Art Thou quite good number of times. Your opponent's taken you down through a lot of damage. This card to recover definitely does help a lot. And also, I run 1 Formula Synchron with Smartphone, Cellphone, you name it, definitely very, very useful. 1 Armory Arm. This is probably the one time I like the setup for the Power Tool, just to equip it onto it, giving the additional attack and the option for the protection if I need to with the equip spells. And also 1 Naturia Beast, 1 Stardust Charge Warrior, 1 Black Rose Dragon, and 1 Crystal Wing. Just between the two, the Lifestream and the Crystal Wing, both options very, very viable depending on the play I want to go for. And for the Link monsters, the 1 Link Karibo. This is a very important card. I might even consider bumping it up to 2, but then you can just try and remove one of the other Link spots I have in the deck for a second copy of this. Also 1 Nightmare Cerberus, 1 Nightmare Phoenix. I am trying out 1 Cross Sheep. I really do like the Synchro boost this card can provide when you summon a Synchro monster to its arrows. I say it definitely does help for the power boost overall. And also 1 Nightmare Unicorn, 1 Star Yugioh, more consistency with the Drawbower this one has, and 1 Boral Sword Dragon to finish off the extra deck. If you want to add in a second Link Karibo, you can try taking out the Cross Sheep or, one of the other Nightmare options for a second copy of Link Karibo, or even one of the, even the Stardust Charge Warrior for that extra spot in the Synchro lineup also. But the one play, I already showed the option with the Lantron, Where Art Thou, but the easiest way I would say to definitely make the Naturia Beast is just to go off of the Smartphone play, being able to easily search out the different options. What you go for is with the Smartphone and the Boomboxin play, being able to search off of the Boomboxin to special summon after you use these 2 cards. You can use Morphtronic Cellphone for the Link Karibo play, going into the Link Kuriboh after you also special summon the option. So what you do is if you have these two cards in your hand and you summon Morphtronic Selfon, if you can reveal the Boomboxen off the Selfon play, you can then link off the Morphtronic Selfon into the Link Kuriboh play, being able to summon it, and then setting up a monster in your graveyard for you to banish for the Morphtronic Smartphone, then get the additional search with the Morphtronic Smartphone as well. Or even you can normal summon the Boomboxen if, let's say, you use the 1-for-1 play to summon out the Selfon and it didn't take up your normal summon. Having both of these out on the field, you can then go for the level 5 Synchro play, not even using the search effect for the Smartphone yet, but being able to have the attack negation to protect your Naturia Beast, and then the spell negation using Naturia Beast itself, just by the simple setup of the two Morphtronic cards in your hand, which is why Link Kuriboh is very, very useful in the deck, just being able to set up the Morphtronics in your graveyard for you to use. But that is it for the deck profile. I hope you all enjoyed. This is definitely one of my favorite Synchro decks out there, so definitely give it a try if you're looking for something that can Synchro summon a lot for the different duels you'll play. But until next time, please don't forget to leave a like and subscribe, and Kira Twig out.